Okay, hello. My name's Gabe Ets-Hokin. Hi. And I ride motorcycles, so you don't have to. And I am in sunny Livermore, California with the Motus MST. And it's a pretty special motorcycle. Now, I've just spent about an hour and a half riding this motorcycle with the founder of the Motus motorcycle company, Lee Khan. I managed to drop one of his bikes. That was good. So I'm just kind of recording my initial impressions after riding this bike. Can I just tell you that it has been a really long road getting me into the saddle of this motorcycle. I think I first heard about this bike, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, like everybody else. And it's been a very long time to get this bike into production and into the hands of customers. But this is a production motorcycle. These, in fact, are the first two production Motus motorcycles built, according to Brian Case. And they're used as demonstrators. But they're identical to the 2016 production version. And I spent, an hour and a half, 2 hours riding these around. So in case you don't know what the Motus is, you've got a tube steel trellis frame, and you've got a motor that is essentially, it's been explained to me, it's a replica of a Corvette V8 motor that's been cut in half and placed into the chassis of a motorcycle, mated to a gearbox that it's not the smoothest, nicest gearbox ever. What else? It's a chain final drive. You've got that nice brace trellis swing arm. You've got Öhlins front suspension on the standard model with a progressive, fully adjustable rear shock with linkage. On the MST-R, that's the production. That's the kind of high performance version with the red valve covers. You got a little more power, a little more torque. Look at that, Birmingham, Alabama, USA. A little more power, a little more torque. Comes with the performance exhaust. Comes with an Öhlins rear shock. Notice another difference between the MST and the MST-R. The MST-R comes with this lower sport handlebar. Standard MST comes with this adjustable touring handlebar. And this is a really fancy piece of equipment. You can buy these. By the way, a lot of the stuff that Motus doesn't make comes from the aftermarket, right? Jivi does the luggage. I don't know who does that. Looks like Yoshimura does the exhaust. I'm sorry. Akrapovich does the exhaust. Öhlins does the suspension. Braking does the brakes. It's a Brembo calipers. And then there's a lot of aftermarket stuff. These bars here, you can purchase them for your Yamaha FJR for about $800, by the way. That's a Sargent seat that comes standard. You can pick one of 3 different heights. You can also get a heated seat. The windshield comes in different heights. So let's talk more about this motor. Now, I don't have exact specs in front of me, but you're looking at like 140 foot-pounds of torque, and I think something like 120, 130 horsepower at the crank. And it's a very automotive kind of engine. And let me tell you, and then that's a nice big fat gas tank. I think it's about 5 gallons. Should give you about 210 miles of range. And so let's cut to the nitty gritty. What's this bike like to ride? It's fantastically hilarious to ride, because keep in mind, this is a motorcycle, weighs in the 550 to 600 pound range when it's gassed up. And it handles like a much, much smaller bike. You're not going to mistake it for a sport bike or for a supermoto, but what it does feel like is a big standard, like the Z1000 or the CB1000, or an FZ1. So it feels like a big standard, even though it's heavier than that. The steering is heavy, but it's extremely stable, and with the high bars, at least, you have a lot of leverage, so turning it is not a problem. That looks like a real long wheelbase, but it's actually about 57 inches, only a couple inches longer than what you're going to find on a sport bike. Now, what's it like to ride a sport tourer with 140 foot-pounds of torque, it's a lot of fun. It's the king of the highway. So what you have is, you know, like not just a big twin, but like a tuned big twin kind of feel when you roll open the throttle. By the way, you have very, very nice light feel on the throttle. The clutch, a hydraulic clutch with this beautiful billet slave cylinder, has a great feel. I mean, I could just spend all day pointing out all the beautiful details on this bike, and then on the MST-R, which, by the way, hey, look at the scratches, which, by the way, is carbon fiber bodywork. And I could spend all day pointing out the little details. The instrument panel is also really interesting. It has multiple screens. And multiple modes. It has a mode for yeah, with all this information. I mean, you get really detailed. In fact, you don't need an OBD reader because you could actually get all that information right off the display of the motorcycle. Are there anti-lock brakes? No. Is there traction control? No. Can you scroll through the functions with handlebar switches? No. Can you sync it to your Bluetooth? No. Can you post to Instagram while you're riding along? No. This is a rider's motorcycle, and this is a motorcycle for a real enthusiast who appreciates engineering, who appreciates a really fast, torquey motor, who appreciates a chassis that handles predictably and very well, who appreciates a comfortable seat and good wind protection. This is for somebody who wants a motorcycle that they can go riding on for mile after mile, year after year. It's a real heirloom bike. It's made in the USA, and now we're going to get to what might be a big sticking point for a lot of potential purchasers. You're going to spend over $30,000, somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 to get one of these motorcycles in your garage. But you know what? $40,000? It's not that much money for a hand-built, American-made piece of engineering like this. It really isn't. Look at this car. It's a Mazda 3. It's got Skyactiv technology. It's about $30,000. Is it anything special? If you bought this and people say, you paid $30,000 for that? Are you an idiot? But look at this. Is this special? Is it worth $30,000? Is it worth $40,000? I don't know. Maybe not to you, but Lee Case and Brian Kahn are very confident that they're going to sell every one they build, and I would not tell a person who bought this motorcycle that they spent too much for it. And after having ridden it for a couple hours, I know that that's the truth. So I'll see you out there riding, and thanks for watching.